Alright guys, my name is Shervin. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can use your credit cards to pay rent and whether or not it's a good idea to do so. Now, if you've been renting a place for a while, you know that you can't use your credit cards to pay rent directly and you have to use cash. But that said, there are services out there that allow you to use your credit card in order to pay your landlord through them. One of the most notable ones here in Canada is Chexi, which is a service that allows you to pay them with credit cards and then they pay your landlord in your name. Now, if you watch the end of this video, I'm going to go over exactly how these services work, whether or not they're actually worth using, and in what situations are they beneficial. But of course, as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the subscribe button down below and join the community. I make new videos about personal finance and investing on a regular basis, and by subscribing to the channel, you get to see all my new videos right as they come out. Also, if you enjoyed the video and want to support me even more, then do me a favor and smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Alright, with all that said, let's get right into how these services work. Now, usually when you use these services, there is a fee that comes with them. For example, if you use Chexi, there is a 1.75% fee that comes with paying your rent through them. This is because processing credit card transactions is costly, and as well as that, the company wants to make a profit for themselves as well. And of course, this means that in most situations, you're probably better off just paying your rent with cash, because then you don't have to pay this extra fee for no reason. And pretty much any other credit card to rent service you use will have a similar fee, some even as high as 2.5 or even 3%. But that said, there are some specific situations where it might actually be worth paying your rent through these services and paying that extra fee. The first one is kind of an obvious one, but it's when you have a credit card that offers a higher cashback rate than the fee that you're paying. For example, I just made a video about the Rogers MasterCard where I talked about how you can use that card to get 3% cashback on everything as long as you do a certain number of things. If you haven't watched that video already, I highly recommend you check it out. But basically, if you have a credit card like that offers you 3% cashback on your purchases, then in that case, you're actually better off using a service like Chexi because yes, you are paying 1.75% in fees, but given that you get 3% in cashback, you're essentially profiting 1.25%. And of course, there are also a number of other premium credit cards that offer high cashback rates or very high points. And again, if you have any of those credit cards, as long as you can create an arbitrage where you're getting back more than the 1.75% you have to spend with Chexi, then of course, in those situations, it's actually worth using a service like this. Another one is when you have just opened up a new credit card and you need help with the sign-up bonus. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, some premium credit cards actually need you to spend a lot of money in the first couple of months of owning the card in order to receive the sign-up bonus. For example, if you get a card like the Amex Platinum card, you need to spend $10,000 in the first 3 months to get a ton of points. And of course, with these sign-up bonuses, you don't really want to spend more than you normally would have spent in that time anyways. Like for example, if you normally spend $1,000 a month, you don't want to spend a lot more than that just to qualify for the sign-up bonus. That just doesn't make sense. But given the fact that you're paying your rent anyways, you could put that on your credit card using one of these services, and that can be a big help in getting to that number that you need in order to qualify for the sign-up bonus. Now, of course, this does depend on your particular situation and depends on how much you need for the sign-up bonus and how much you normally spend on your own, but it's something you can look out for. If there is a sign-up bonus that you want to qualify for, but you don't spend enough to qualify for it, then paying your rent with your credit card and paying a small fee for a couple of months may actually be very well worth it. And of course, last but not least is in an emergency situation. The same way that we have emergency funds just in case anything goes wrong, having a service like this is also a good buffer to have just in case you run low on cash or you don't have enough to pay right away. Instead of having an awkward conversation where you're talking to your landlord and you're explaining why the payment is going to be late a week or whatever. In cases like those, you could use a service like this to pay the landlord with your credit card right now and then pay off the credit card yourself. Now, of course, that has to go with a disclaimer that never put anything on your credit card that you can't afford to pay off right away, or at the very least by the next due date on your credit card. Because that's how a lot of Canadians fall into enormous amounts of credit card debts by just putting stuff on their credit card and not paying attention to the debt building up. So make sure not to do that. I'm definitely not advocating for that kind of behavior. This is really just a last resort option just in case, and only if you know for a fact that you can afford to pay off your credit card before the due date. But those were just a couple of situations where it may be worth using a service like this to pay for your rent with your credit card. But other than that, honestly speaking, there's no point in using a service like this to pay for your rent. And let's be honest, you'll be paying more for your rent because you have to pay the fee as well, when you could just simply use cash to pay for it. Now, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you see all my new videos right as they come out. Feel free to follow me on social media. I'm on X and Instagram at Shervin House. As always, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we talked about in this video, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I always respond to every single question that comes in. And now with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.